Cultures of Europe, 1500s through the 1800s.
Mannerism was a very popular style of art in Italy during the 1520s. Mannerism originated from Florence and Rome, then later spread to northern Italy and parts of Europe. The style period came after the Renaissance. El Greco was one of the most known Mannerist artists. He painted many expressive and religious paintings that became well known during this time period.
Next is the Baroque period. This period lasted from the 1600s to 1760. During this period, popular art consisted of religion, power, and ideals of the people during the Renaissance. Gian Lorenzo Bernini was a famous architect and sculptor of the Baroque period. Bernini's art mainly consisted of drama and naturalism. His sculptures are most popular for their textures.
During the Elizabethan era, English poetry and art flourished. This era lasted from 1558 to 1603, when Queen Elizabeth I ruled England. Theater arts also flourished during this time, and many theaters were built around England. One of the most known literature artists from this era was William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright, and an actor. Shakespeare wrote more than 30 plays during his time.
Miguel de Cervantes is most famous for his novel Don Quixote in Spanish literature. The first poems that Cervantes wrote were about the death of Philip II's wife. Cervantes is also known for the writing of short stories. Lope de Vega started writing poetry at a very young age. He developed a love of theater after he tried to go into the military. He soon settled down and focused on the work of theater.
This time period had impacts on music and literature. Some musicians from this time period included Johann Sebastian Bach and George Frederick Handel.
Bach came from a family with great musical talent. He became an organist and composer. Bach is known to be the greatest composer of all time.
Handel wrote music about religion. He composed operas using the Baroque style. His organ and harpsichord playing is what gained him recognition. A well-known writer from this time was Henry Fielding. He wrote many novels about people with no morals. Some of his famous works included novels Amelia and Tom Jones.
This era lasted from 1800 to 1850. Gothic and Romance literature flourished during this time. Famous authors from this time period are Walter Scott, Mary Shelley, and Edgar Allan Poe. Ludwig van Beethoven was a great composer of classical and Romance music. He is the most famous composer during the Romanticism period. His father began teaching him music at a very young age.
Realism era was all about the everyday life of ordinary people. This impacted realistic art and literature. Realism literature did not use precise description and also was about social issues.
Charles Dickens was an author during the Realism period. He wrote about realistic characters during the Industrial Age. His novels helped to inspire social reform.
Created using Powtoon.